This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
For those of you who have been following the channel lately, you will know that Jesse was diagnosed with colon cancer. And because of that, he is going to be having surgery coming up, and he selected me to fill in for him here on the Dollemore Daily while he is having his surgery, recovering from his surgery, and going through treatment of cancer. Right now, there's still a lot of uncertainty. We don't know what stage he's in. We don't know what the prognosis is, but we do know that sometimes Jesse is tired. He's fatigued. He's feeling exhausted. Obviously, it's a lot to be diagnosed with cancer, and so we are definitely thinking of him, hoping the best for him. He is my partner in life and content creation, and so I certainly am hoping for the best outcome, absolutely. I appreciate all of the love and support that the audience has shown him, has shown me. We are so happy to have you and have you supporting us, so thank you for that. To honor Jesse in his absence, he's not in surgery yet, by the way. He's like standing off camera, supervising me directly, making sure that I don't ruin everything. So you guys can be the judge of that. But he's here and supervising, and we're hoping that it goes well.
Hey, everybody.
So in order to honor him and ensure that we are doing him proud, we're going to talk about Republicans and the damage that Republicans are continuing to do to this country, particularly as it relates to abortion. Now, the latest news on abortion and the fallout of reversing Roe v. Wade is a lawsuit that was recently filed in Cincinnati. And this lawsuit is an attempt to stop Ohio's strict abortion law. Right now, the enforcement of the law has been delayed until October 14th for now. But as a part of this lawsuit, we're learning through affidavits that have been filed from various healthcare providers, people who are providing abortions to those in need, that the 10-year-old who had to travel from Ohio to Indiana back in July is not the only child that has had to travel out of state because of the strict abortion law in Ohio. Now let's go back to July because we want to refresh everyone's memory. What happened in July? Well, in July, the Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost, you may remember him, raised some unfounded doubts about the existence of a 10-year-old rape victim who had to travel to Indiana to obtain an abortion because of the strict Ohio abortion law. He was not alone. Soon after he raised doubts about the existence of a 10-year-old rape victim, other Republicans followed suit. You had Jim Jordan, who tweeted calling it another lie about a 10-year-old rape victim who had to travel out of state to get an abortion. You had various Fox News hosts jumping on the bandwagon, Republicans, shameless. This in the face of overwhelming evidence that a 10-year-old rape victim needing to obtain an abortion is not outlandish, and we can look to the data for that. According to reporting from the Ohio Capitol Journal, in 2020, the most recent year for which statistics are available, 52 girls aged 14 and younger had abortions in Ohio, and this is according to the State Department of Health. They report, thankfully, that number is down from an apparent high of 334 in 1998. 52 girls aged 14 and younger had abortions in Ohio in 2020, the most recent year for which statistics are available. 52. That's one every week. And a 10-year-old comes forward and says, I needed to travel from Ohio to Indiana to obtain my abortion, and Republicans say, there's no way that could happen. It's absolutely happening. And now, because of this most recent reporting, we know that this strict abortion law in Ohio is continuing to impact other children and teens. From the reporting, Chief Medical Officer for Planned Parenthood of Greater Ohio told of a minor who had been sexually assaulted and had to travel to Michigan for an abortion because of SB 23, Ohio's strict abortion law. Their organization operates clinics in Columbus and Cleveland. Quote, "This patient experienced immense trauma from the assault itself and then endured further trauma from a forensic interview alongside a physical exam to collect evidence for the ongoing police investigation." And this is from the affidavit. Quote, "This trauma was further exacerbated by needing to wait over 3 weeks for her appointment. In each step of this process, she felt the complete denial of bodily autonomy and safety, something all people, especially children, should unequivocally have at all times." Another example shows how SB 23 makes police investigation of child and teen rapes more difficult. The reporting references an operations manager of Women's Med Center of Dayton told of a 16-year-old girl living in southwestern Ohio who had become pregnant after being sexually assaulted by a family member. As with the 10-year-old from Columbus, this person said the teenager was forced to go to Indianapolis for an abortion. So again, we're learning that more children are having to go out of state for abortions because they cannot obtain them in the state of Ohio. And it's not just the state of Ohio. We're learning about this because this reporting is specifically from Ohio, but let's think about the other states that have strict abortion laws, several on the books now that Roe v. Wade has been overturned, the consequences of that far-reaching, endless, and you have Republicans afraid of what this means, of people finding out. I want to say, by the way, that the only reason a child is pregnant is because they were abused. When we're talking about a 10-year-old being pregnant, we're not talking about consensual relationships. We're talking about sexual abuse. And this is what Republicans apparently wanted. I mean, despite people like Jim Jordan trying to say that they're lies, despite people like Dave Yost and Fox News personalities trying to cast doubt on these actual, real, lived experiences of human beings, this is what they wanted. This is the society that they have created. Now, few Republicans are as bold, I would say, to just come out and say, yes, this is what we wanted. These are the natural consequences of our policy decisions. But we do have the governor of Nebraska. And if you live in Nebraska, I'm sorry, because you have Pete Ricketts that you have to deal with. And he was pretty direct in an interview with Dana Bash on CNN this year when he was asked directly about his views on forcing children to carry a baby to term.
So can you clarify, do you think that the state of Nebraska should require a young girl who was raped to carry that pregnancy to term?
So Nebraska is a pro-life state. I believe life begins at conception, and those are babies too. So if Roe versus Wade, which was a horrible constitutional decision, gets overturned by the Supreme Court, which we're hopeful of, here in Nebraska, we're going to take further steps to protect those preborn babies. Including in the case of rape or incest? They're still babies too, yes, they're still babies.
They're still babies, yes, they're still babies, says Pete. Pete will never be in a situation where he is a child who is raped and then apparently has to carry a baby to term, being a child who then has to birth a child. I mean, this is someone who wants to determine the entire life trajectory of a child because of a rapist. The fact that we have to listen to these people is more than I can take sometimes. And these are the same people, by the way, who don't want to do anything to help people living in poverty. At every turn, they want to throw up the roadblocks and not actually help people that are living in poverty. And as if this story wasn't bad enough, it gets worse because it's not just the consequences for children and teenagers who are having to travel out of state to obtain abortions. It's other people. From the reporting, the descriptions include those of 3 women who threatened suicide. They also include 2 women with cancer who couldn't terminate their pregnancies and also couldn't get cancer treatment while they were pregnant. Another 3 examples were of women whose fetuses had severe abnormalities or other conditions that made a successful pregnancy impossible. Even so, they couldn't get abortions in Ohio. And in 3 cases, debilitating vomiting was caused by pregnancy, so bad in one case that a woman couldn't get off the clinic floor, but neither could these women get abortions in Ohio, the affidavits said. Threatening suicide, unable to obtain treatment for cancer. It just never ends. It never ends with the consequences of having done this. And you would think, right, after decades of working toward this goal, that Republicans would have had a plan in place to support people, to support children who are victims of rape, to support women who are put in positions where they're so terrified of having a child that they want to kill themselves. You would think that they would have thought about what they needed to put in place before this actually happened, but no. I don't know that they care about that, given their lack of preparation on this issue. This is more than just about bodily autonomy, the issue of abortion. We're talking about entire life trajectories. We're talking about whether or not people can have healthy, thriving romantic relationships. We're talking about whether people can escape poverty, whether they can escape abusive relationships, violent relationships, whether they can hold on to their physical health, their mental health. There's several resources that I want to point out, but I'm only going to go with two here. PlanCpills.org, Plan C. More than 54% of abortions in the United States are completed through pills, medication. And in some European countries, that's over 90%. They are safe, they are effective, FDA approved for more than 20 years. If you go to PlanCpills.org, that is one way that you can obtain medication abortion. They assist with that. And another website is ProChoice.org. That is the National Abortion Federation. They help connect people who are seeking abortions with abortion providers, as well as provide funding for abortion. So if you or someone you know could use these resources, please share this video with them. Please share links to those resources with them. And let's not move away from the important point here, which is we do not want to let Republicans try to escape and cover up the mess that they have made. This is the society that they want. This is the society that they have created, where 10-year-old kids are having to escape and go to other states to avoid having a child, and their whole life trajectory decided by a rapist. It's what Republicans wanted, apparently. I am Brittany Page. Kind of a tough topic for my first video. Sorry if I went a little off the rails a bit. I guess Jesse would be proud of that too. He'll let me know afterwards.
I'm proud.
So give us a call, 714-576-4054, or you can send an email to daily@dollemore.com. You can always leave comments in the comment section as well. This is my first video running solo, so I hope it went well. I feel like it went okay. I guess you guys will be the judge. We are all hoping the best for Jesse. We all love Jesse tremendously. I know I love Jesse tremendously, and we are eager for him to get healthy, get back to a place where he feels good every day, or most days. It's hard to get to a place where you feel good every day, even under the best cancer-free circumstances, right? So thank you so much for hanging out with me. I am Brittany Page. You can follow me on social media at Brittany E. Page on Twitter, Instagram. I look forward to connecting with you there. And as Jesse would say, be genuine and take care of one another.